and I'll kiss you, 'cause with the birds of share, with the birds of share, it's a lonely view, and with the birds of share, it's a lonely view, and with the birds of share, it's a lonely view. To decide that the things that I tried were in my life just to get high on. When I sit alone, come get a little known, but I need more than myself this time. Step from the road to the sea to the sky, and I do believe that we rely on. When I lay it on, come get to play it on, all my life to sacrifice. Hey, oh, listen what I say, oh, I got your head. Now listen what I say, oh, oh. When will I know that I really can go to the well once more time to decide on? When it's killing me, when will I really see all that I need to look inside? Come to believe that I better not leave before I get my chance to ride. When it's killing me, what do I really need? All that I need to look inside. Hey, oh, listen what I say. I know the more I like to let it go. Hey, oh, whoa, whoa. Deep beneath the cover of another perfect wonder, where it's so white as snow, privately divided by a world so undecided, and there's nowhere to go. Between the cover of another perfect wonder, and it's so white as snow, running through the field where all my tracks will be concealed, and there's nowhere to go. Oh! When to descend to amend for offend all the channels that have broken down. Now you bring it up, I'm gonna ring it up just to hear you sing it out. Step from the road to the sea to the sky, and I do believe what we rely on. When I lay it on, come get to play it on, all my life to sacrifice. Hey, oh, listen what I say, oh, I got your hey, oh, listen what I say. papa was a copper and the mama was a hippie. In Alabama, she would swing a hammer. Price you gotta pay when you break the panorama. She never knew that there was anything more than gold. What in the world does your company take me for? Black bandana, sweet Louisiana, robbing on a bank in the state of Indiana. She's a runner, rebel and a stunner. On the mirror way saying, baby, what you gonna? Looking down the barrel of a hot metal 45. Just another way to survive. California, rest in peace. Simultaneous release. California, show your teeth. She's my priestess, I'm your priest. Yeah, yeah. She's a lover, baby, and a fighter. Should've seen it coming when it got a little brighter. With a name like Day in California, day was gonna come when I was gonna mourn ya. A little loaded, she was stealing another breath. I love my baby to death. California, rest in peace. Simultaneous release. California, show your teeth. She's my priestess, I'm your priest. Yeah, yeah. Who knew that all this time? Who knew that all this time? Sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner. Sometimes I feel like my only friend is the city I live in, the city of angels. Lonely as I am, together we cry. Woo! I drive on the streets 'cause she's my companion. I walk through the hills 'cause she knows who I am. She sees my good deeds and she kisses the windy. And I never worry, now that is a lie. I don't ever wanna feel like I did that day. Take me to the place I love. Take me all the way. I don't ever wanna feel like I did that day. Take me to the place I love. Take me all the way. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
morning, that is Uncle Lou here. That's right, it's me, Uncle Lou, and guess what? I'm live for you on LouTube today. Hey, thanks for watching. This is Uncle Lou After Dark, the college football call-in show, and guess what? I do this show 2 nights a week. That's right, Tuesdays and Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. Take phone calls from you guys, and girls sometimes too, on occasion. And talk about whatever it is you want to talk about, mostly in the world of college football. March Madness going on right now, so if you guys want to talk a little college basketball, that would be understandable. Gonzaga rolled earlier, won by about 20 over the real USC, and Michigan's on now. You say you need a score update? Yeah, say no more, fam. 6-4. This is on the app, maybe a little behind if you're watching the game on TV. Maybe a little behind what you're seeing. 8-4 now, Michigan up. For anyone that cares, I would need Michigan to win this game. But I took a beating today. Well, I didn't really take a beating today. It's just that I didn't have either USC or Gonzaga making it this far. I actually had Gonzaga losing in the last round. So other people are catching up is really what's happening. I only have 2 teams left in my bracket, and it's Baylor and Michigan. So I obviously need Michigan to win now. Then I need Michigan to win their Final Four game and Baylor to win their Final Four game. Baylor versus Michigan for the title game, and then I did pick Baylor in the title game. I'm too far out to win, but if I'm going to move up in the standings at all, that's what I would need. That's what I would need to happen. So anyway, how you guys doing? I do appreciate y'all tuning in today. Uncle Lou After Dark, the college football call-in show. YouTube's longest-running college football call-in show, too. The phone lines are full, 706-786-4481, 706-786-4481. Here you go. Don't forget about the morning show, 4 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 8 a.m. And Lunch Money with me and Pigskin Pete every Monday night at 10 p.m. YouTube's best show about nothing. That's facts. It's the best show about nothing. Next week's schedule will be a little off. It's Masters Week here, spring break for this area and for a lot of areas around here. No Lunch Money show for sure on Monday. Everything else is kind of up in the air. I guess I'll try to get it figured out by Friday so I can let you guys know on the morning show what the schedule is, and maybe I'll put out a video or something over the weekend explaining it too. But keep in mind that the schedule may be, the live show schedule may be a little hit or miss for next week. Keep that in mind if you can. Appreciate all of you tuning in tonight. Hit the thumbs up. We're getting ready to jump on the phones here and see what these people are talking about. Appreciate all of you tuning in. Russell Westbrook, B. Bean, Lizard Circus, Almia McVeigh, RB Smata, Bacon Ninjet, Iron Mike Tyson is here. Morning to you, sir. Still eating babies or no? Everyone's got a plan until they get hit in the face, don't they? Yeah. Notre Dame man's got him a plan, don't he? Mr. Lambo, good to see you in here, sir. Donnie Wilkerson. Golden Blue Dude, Totally Not Depressed, Noel Squad, Michael Hogg, Elusive Jones, Jerome. That's a good idea, Jerome. We hadn't hit that one in a while.
You big dummy.
Yeah. What's he up to? I don't know. I'm not sure anyone knows. I haven't seen any. I haven't seen him in a while. Neo, what's up, buddy? Appreciate all of you tuning in. Let's get to the phone lines and see what these people are talking about. How about that? Yeah, good morning. You're on with Uncle Ludo.
Hey, Lou, it's Nate the Great.
Nate, what's up, buddy? How's Michigan looking?
Pretty good.
Okay, good. Are you a Michigan round ball fan or just football?
Well, a round fan, yes.
You're a round fan? How big around are you, Nate?
Yep.
I've seen you, Nate. You're not big around at all. Nate, you're not bigger. I've seen you, sir. You're not that big around at all.
That's how big you are.
I'm
6'5".
Nate, you might be in. Listen to me, Nate. Are you listening to me? You're in better shape than 90% of the people in this comment section. Now, I haven't seen 90% of the people in this comment section, but I can take the people that I have seen and extrapolate out. So don't worry. You're not round at all, sir. You're in amazing shape. What's on your mind tonight, Nate?
Well, I was going to remind you, but I'll tell you that. I would tell you that after I ask a few questions. But for tonight's game against UCLA and Michigan, what's your final predictions for that game?
Well, I picked Michigan in my bracket, so I need them to win. Yeah.
Okay.
I only have 2 teams left. I've got Michigan and Baylor, so I need them to keep winning, you know. Baylor's already in the Final Four. I need Michigan to get into the Final Four, and then I need Michigan to beat Gonzaga.
Yeah.
You think they can do that? If Michigan wins if Michigan wins
Yeah,
tonight, they got to play Gonzaga. Now, I watched that Gonzaga game earlier. Sir, they look unbeatable to Uncle Lou, but I'm not a round ball expert. But Gonzaga appears unbeatable to me. Watching Gonzaga play round ball is like watching Alabama play Arkansas or something in football. You're just like, this is just ridiculous. And the game's over before it starts.
Yeah, I know.
You know, then Clemson shows up and beats them 44-16. But what now?
I just said that they're like immortal for basketball.
Yeah, and it's weird because I mean they're that's not always the case. I mean, yeah, they've had a lot of great teams.
Yeah.
But they've never won a title, and I think they said it during the game tonight that this is only the second time they've made the Final Four. So, I don't, they've had some great teams, but nothing like what they have this year. I mean, they're 30-0 for the first time since somebody did it in the San Francisco or somebody in the 1950s went 30-0 or something. But it's unreal what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Juwan Howard is doing a really good job for Michigan too. Plus, this is his first coaching year, I think.
Who'd you say? Ron Howard? Did you say Ron Howard? Opie from Andy Griffith's show? Juwan Howard.
No.
Yes. Now, he's not the one that called the timeout when they didn't have one, is it?
I don't think so.
Okay,
Maybe,
good.
I don't know.
Good. Do you know what the Fab Four is?
Yeah, I know that not Fab Four, but I wasn't born yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, do you know why they lost?
Because they lost Duke.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because they called a timeout when they didn't have any, and it was a technical, and Duke won on free throws. You thought Alabama was a choke artist? The Fab Four takes the cake.
Yeah, I agree, Lou. I think. Well, here's my question. Well, I was gonna let you know. I know. I emailed you like this afternoon, but for the morning show tomorrow.
Not tomorrow. There is no morning show
tomorrow.
Is there
right? Oh, it's not.
Yeah, we don't do the morning show on Wednesdays. I emailed you back though.
Thursday. Oh, I thought it was Wednesday today.
No, if it was Wednesday, then we wouldn't be doing the night show.
Oh,
you know what it is, Nate? You're so far ahead of everybody else, Nate, that you're a day ahead because you operate at a level that is so far ahead of your average person. That's what it is. So you done got yourself a day ahead. But no, if you want to come on Thursday, that's great. I think you said you could only come on from 8:15 to 9. So I'll just we'll just put you on at 8:15. You can stay on as long as you want.
Well, I was gonna say like Lou, what I meant is like so I have a young adult program. Like my bus picks me up at like 8:15 Central Time, so that'll be 9:15 on your time.
Right.
What the good time to, if I want to call in, is if you're awake, but is like probably 8 for you, but 7 for me, like 7 a.m.
Right. Well, I start the show at 8 my time. Why don't you call it about 8:15 and you can stay on as long as you want. Give me 10 or 15 minutes to start, at the beginning of the show, and then you can call in and stay on as long as you want. Okay. All right, Nate.
Okay.
Good luck to your Wolverines tonight. I'll be pulling for them too.
Yep.
Thanks for the call and have a good morning.
You're welcome.
Nate the Great checking in there. Though. All right. Everyone, turn your volume down. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Good morning, Uncle Lou. This is Edward calling in. How you doing on this awesome Tuesday night?
I'm doing great, Edward. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Oh, man, that was fun. Killing 2 birds with 1 stone last night. Oh, that had to be such talent. Man,
Nate,
knocking out what's that?
Edward.
Yeah.
You've killed more people than smallpox.
Oh, yes. Yes, I have. Yeah, I like to see the Michigan Wolverines beat Gonzaga. I'll make a prediction and say I think Michigan will beat them. That's my prediction.
So you got Michigan over Gonzaga. I like the way you think. I like the way you think.
I'd say they win the whole thing. That'll be something.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that happen. Oh,
Makes
I do
sense.
have a question to ask you.
Yeah, what's that?
What's your thoughts about Todd Rundgren?
I don't know who the hell that is. I'm just going to be honest. I thought about trying to make something up, but I don't know who that is.
Oh. I think he's a singer. I believe he's a singer, but oh well.
Sounds like you're not even sure who he is, which makes it really strange that you would ask me about him.
Yeah, I believe he's a singer.
Yeah.
But, yeah. All right. Well, anyway, before I give all this, give a quick shout out to Rack Dog. Shout out to you, Nate the Great. I was impressed with your trash talk last night. You got potential, kid. And Hurricane Logan, shout out to you. Your trash talk was impressive. You got potential. So, yeah, that's about it. Well, thank you for having me on, Uncle Lou, and I will talk to you again. Okay, not the next Monday, but the Monday after that.
Sounds good, Edward. Thanks for the call, buddy. Good to hear from you. Good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou.
Lou, what are you doing?
Whooping you!
Hello?
Hello?
What are you doing, sir?
Stop mistreating Uncle Lou!
You big dummy.
I'm gonna snort some cayenne pepper up my nose.
Let me get all up in there good.
Thanks for calling in, Camel Toes. It was good to hear from you. Good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, though.
Good morning, Lou.
Yeah,
Sorry
but
to
good
interrupt.
morning,
This
though.
is Caleb, man.
Yeah.
Though, good to hear from you, sir. I was,
Yeah, I appreciate you letting me
that
call
was
in.
an awesome. Sir, what was that?
You said it was good to hear from me. I said, yeah, I appreciate you letting me call in.
Anyway, well, got through that mess up. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about Jermaine Burton going down. So, I just want to get your opinion on it as far as what it does to UGA, because I feel like all of the fans right now are just reacting as if the sky was falling.
Well, I mean, these same people that are nothing matters to these people. These Disney dogs.
Yep.
These sunshine pumpers. Nothing matters until the end of the season when we're sitting in the same boat we've been sitting in for the last 40 years. And then you know what they say? Well, what do you expect? We didn't have George Pickens. This is what they do. They did this Fromm's junior year. I said, my God, when Jeremiah Holloman got kicked off the team, I made a big deal about it. Why? Was he some kind of future Hall of Famer in the NFL? No. But he was the only returning wide receiver we had that year. He was it. And then he got kicked off the team. And I made a big deal about it. People talk, look at Lou, blah. Well, we got this guy, we got that guy. Okay, yeah. And then at the end of the year, what did they say? When I said Fromm sucked a big, you know what? What'd they say? What do you expect, Lou? Yeah. Hey, Lou. You know when they kicked Jeremiah Holloman off the team, Lou, he was only returning wide receiver. We didn't have a wide receiver, Lou.
Yep.
No, lady, how about you shut the up? I'm doing Lou too, bitch.
So I don't know what you mean by the sky is falling, but listen. And if I hear this thing about Jalen Waddle and Devontae Smith one more time, I'm liable to drive over to somebody's house and beat them to death with a wireless keyboard. We don't have one of those, much less two.
Not one.
Okay, stop. I love George Pickens is amazing compared to all other Georgia receivers. Okay, that doesn't make he's not, and even if he is Jalen Waddle, we don't have a Devontae Smith. I'm sorry, I love Jermaine Burton and Kyrus Jackson and Don Blaylock and Marcus Rosemy St. Jackson Milan III, whatever the hell he done changed his name to now. I love all those people, and they could all have good years. They're not Devontae Smith.
Yep.
Devontae Smith, when Devontae Smith did what he did last year, that was his third year starting.
Yep.
Okay, so don't tell me that Arian Smith, who has, what does he have? One catch in his career?
Yep. And I think it was
Why are you worried
touchdown,
about George Pickens? We got Arian Smith, woo. Well, whippity do. And that's great. And I hope he goes for 1,000,000 yards. But the idea that nothing matters, doesn't matter. Nothing matters. This is why you recruit. Nothing matters. Shut up. Yes, it matters. Alabama won a national title without Jalen Waddle. Great. They would have been even better with Jalen Waddle.
They would have had 20,000 yards instead of 15.
God almighty.
Yeah. I was just I know that I definitely didn't take the George Pickens thing lightly.
Now,
I knew it was going to hurt.
Let me ask this. Kenny McIntosh got hurt 2 weeks ago. You didn't hear two peeps or a country holler at me, did you?
Nope.
Why?
Because
we have the running backs like Oklahoma and Bama have the wide receivers. That's why.
Yep.
So you want to go on and on about something not mattering, then talk about a running back.
Yep.
My God.
Yep.
600 yards receiving gets you in the Hall of Fame at UGA, but we don't need George Pickens?
Yeah,
and what happened today to Jermaine Burton is one of the reasons why it did matter that we lost George Pickens. Because now you get more. Listen, this is the thing about wide receivers. When your number one left guard gets injured, who takes his place?
I would believe the number 2 left guard.
The number 2 left guard. When the number 1 wide receiver gets injured, who takes his place?
That would be either the 5th
The fifth or the sixth best wide receiver on your team is now a starter. So, I'm not sure if potato or new to football with this "it don't matter" crowd. Yes, it matters. It matters.
Yeah, I definitely, when Pickens went down, man, I knew it was a big hurt to our program. But I think with Burton, they're kind of just some people are extending it a little bit too far, thinking, oh, now Georgia won't even win 8 games, 10 games. But
well, that's
I don't
insane.
even think
we were winning 11 games with Jake Fromm throwing 2,600 yards. I mean, so as far as winning 10 or 11 games, we're past that. No, who cares? That's still a good season, but no, if that's what people mean by the sky is falling, then no. We could lose every receiver on our team, we'd still win 10 or 11 games. I mean, I don't know who's sitting around going, I'm not worried, we're still going to win 10 or 11 games. I'm not worried. I'd like to see some of these people. I'd like to take their temperature.
Yeah, I was just, people were, and I think some people think it's worse than it is, but I believe Burton will be ready for our first game. So
I don't have any idea. Last I heard, he was laid up in the thing getting an MRI. So I don't know. He was carted off the field. How many times has he blown his knees already? I don't know. So, so I don't know what the MRI said. So we'll see. I have no idea.
Well, yeah, we'll see. I know as far as Pickens goes, though, that was a huge loss.
Yeah, Pickens
no doubt.
Is done.
It was. Yeah, Pickens is done. He'll be lucky to come back. We might not ever see him in a Georgia uniform again. He might just take his performance to the NFL.
I mean, do people really want to see him come back at the end of the year and hobble around like Jalen Waddle did in the national title game. How embarrassingly sad was that? The guy looked like me
Yeah,
running. They got Jalen Waddle out here. The dude looks like me running the 40-yard dash at the Slob Olympics. The guy can't move. They got him out here. It reminded me of the middle school basketball game when they put somebody in at the end of the game because the team's up by 40 and they put the guy on the end of the bench in and let him score a basket so his parents can clap for once in their lives.
That's exactly how I felt. And our luck would be that it would be in a big game. I hope Kirby wouldn't want to put him in a situation where he have to make a big play in a big game. But, Kirby's the smartest guy in the room, so that might happen.
Yeah.
Kirby knows everything.
Right. All right. Caleb, thank you for the call, sir. Thanks for pissing me off, too. Not you, but just that topic in general. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
What's up, Lou? It's Hurricane Logan. How you doing?
Hey, Logan. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? Just asking. Obviously the title says college football talk, so I was wondering how you feel about Miami coming into the season logically, without screaming and trolling.
Right.
Maybe just how you feel about Miami.
I feel better about them than I did last year. I think getting D'Eriq King back was huge.
So I got a question for you because, I really don't want to bring this up, but it's happening in the fan base. So people are saying that there's a race thing or whatever it may be with Perry and King, which really doesn't make sense because, I won't get into that, but they're saying that they're rushing King's starting position when he starts against Bama this season. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like the staff is going to rush King into starting against Bama and he's not going to be healthy, or what?
I don't think that happens very often. I really don't. That's not to say that it's never happened. And to give you an example, like I just mentioned with Jalen Waddle, I think it was completely irresponsible for Nick Saban to allow him to play. And people say, well, it was his decision. He wanted to play. We have these concussion rules. The player always wants to play. Okay? You could cut the player's arms off. He's going to say, I want to play. Players play. It's the coach's job to know when they should or shouldn't play. And generally speaking, I trust coaches to make the right decision. Now, if this was Clemson we were talking about, no. Dabo Swinney will throw you out there. He doesn't give two shits about your health. He doesn't care at all. He's proven it over and over. He just about cost Deshaun Watson his entire career. Now, it turns out Deshaun Watson might be the one that cost Deshaun Watson his career, but that's a different story for a different day. So I don't know the particulars of what's going on with D'Eriq King's rehab, but in general, I give coaches the benefit of the doubt that if they play a guy, he's ready to play until it's I'm proven otherwise. So, and the other thing is, I happen to know some of the people you might be talking about, for some particular reason, they think N'Kosi Perry's a good quarterback. The guy's mush doo-doo. He's terrible. He's not any good. Everybody on your schedule hopes N'Kosi Perry. Everybody on your schedule hopes N'Kosi Perry plays. He's awful.
Yeah, I can't say I disagree with you. It's good to talk to you again, too, by the way.
That big dummy over there, I don't understand. He's got to be related to N'Kosi Perry, that big dummy over there. He's got to be. He'll block you. He'll block you just for saying, N'Kosi Perry ain't that good. Blocked.
You big dummy.
I'm sorry. And then you just hate Miami. Then why do I think D'Eriq King is so good then? I love D'Eriq King. He's got limitations too. He's 5'5", but he's going to win you more games than N'Kosi Perry is in this idiot's opinion.
So I do have a question for you, just because I guess I'm not plugged into Georgia football, and I saw it a lot on Twitter today. Why are people crying about Kirby Smart and saying that he should be fired? What's going on with Georgia? Because I see you said that obviously in your title that Georgia lost another wide receiver. What's going on with Georgia, and why are fans saying that Kirby Smart once again needs to be fired when he's probably recruiting better than anyone in college football right now?
The only people saying Kirby should be fired are fans of teams that have to play him every year. That's it.
Well, fair enough.
This is the guy's been a head coach for 5 years, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I'll stack his accomplishments up against anyone else in the history of college football in their first 5 years. Kirby comes in third or fourth, maybe all time. And so, and don't look now at the 2022 recruiting class. Don't look now. Don't look now. 2 5-stars, 11 4-stars already. This thing isn't getting worse. Okay, this is a snowball rolling downhill. I've got listen. This is like if my kid gets in trouble at school, I get on to him. That doesn't mean I'm going to give him away. Doesn't mean I don't love him. So has Kirby done some dumb shit? Yes.
Everybody does.
So has Nick Saban. So has Dabo Swinney. I mean, everybody has done dumb shit. Now, Kirby's done some dumb shit in some very high-profile situations, young in his head coaching career. People want to point to 2017, and yeah, Georgia blew it. No doubt. Kirby was in his second year as a head coach, and he was going against the greatest coach in the history of sports. So give the guy a break.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what people expect, but give him a break. I don't understand. Now, just to be completely honest, I also was on the keep Mark Richt train longer than most other people too. So maybe there are some people out there who are ready to get rid of Kirby. I don't know, but there was people that wanted Mark Richt fired back in 08 and 09 and pretty much every year after that. I didn't want Richt fired until 2015. That's when I finally came around, but I can't imagine anybody seriously. I don't know who anybody thinks we would get that would be any better. I mean, I don't care how much people hate Georgia. There's not 5 coaches. There's not 5 coaches better than Kirby. There's not. And please,
not.
People, don't tell me how great of an offensive mind Dan Mullen is. Coaching is more than what you do for 60 minutes on Saturday. Yes, that is a part of it, and that's the part that Kirby maybe needs to improve on. Recruiting is about 70% of your job, okay? And there ain't very many people, if any, doing it better than him. So, Kirby's a top 5 coach right now.
So, if you don't mind, because who knows when you're going to get rid of the caller, how do you feel about how Miami's pros did on the pro day, mostly with the defensive ends, because I think our defensive ends are damn good going into the draft. Really, really good. And then if you can just give me maybe an insight on how you feel we're going to end our record on the season coming up, like honest perspective.
I haven't even looked at Miami's schedule, and as far as the pro days go, I don't watch pro days, and I don't even know what happened at Georgia's pro day. I usually watch the combine. I know they didn't have the combine this year, so pro days were a bigger deal. I haven't watched any, so I really couldn't give an opinion on what any Miami players look like at the pro day. As far as what their overall record would be, I think Miami is the 3rd best team in the ACC on paper heading into the season.
On Clemson, North Carolina.
I think, how the media, every June, they'll have ACC media days and they'll pick who they think's going to win and all that. I think the media is going to pick Clemson and is Clemson and North Carolina. They're in 2 separate divisions, right?
Yeah.
I think Clemson and North Carolina will be the 2 picks to win their divisions, but I think Miami is close to being in that same tier. Because Miami and North Carolina are in the same division and Clemson's in an opposite division, right? It wouldn't shock me if Miami won the division. It wouldn't shock me at all. I think Miami is really, really good and very probably. Miami might have more talent overall than North Carolina, and it could be the thing where, Manny Diaz may end up being a great coach. Mac Brown's been around a long time. They've got a Heisman caliber quarterback. I know Miami does too, but he's coming off that injury. So Miami might be more talented than North Carolina, but it's going to be a good game when they play. But the winner of that game probably wins that division. But I don't see Miami. Listen, Bama's going to beat you by 30. That's just what's going to happen. Outside of that, I think you play Michigan State. Is that right or no?
Yeah, we do play Michigan State.
I think you can beat them.
I agree with your analysis.
I think you can beat Michigan State. I picked them to beat you last year. Y'all ended up not playing, but I picked them to beat you last year. But I think you can beat them this year. And then your other 2 non-con games, I'm going to assume, are lower classification schools. So I'm going to give you the wins there. That puts you at 3 wins in the non-con. Do you play Clemson in the regular season?
I don't think so. No.
I could see you going 10-2. I could see you going 11-1.
Which is really
I mean,
fair.
if you beat North Carolina, here's what Miami has to avoid. Miami's better than every single team in the ACC, no question, except Clemson and maybe North Carolina. So if you want to look at Miami versus Clemson and Miami versus North Carolina and try to say, well, Miami would lose those games, okay, fine. But Miami's better than everyone else in the ACC. So you lose to Bama. North Carolina's a toss-up. You should win the rest of your games, though. You're better than everyone else you play. But the problem, not just with Miami, it's hard for a team to play at their best every single week of the year. That's why almost every single year, every single team loses at least one game that they shouldn't lose. I mean, Oklahoma lost to Kansas State last year. Georgia lost to South Carolina a couple of years ago. I mean, we see it a lot. It's rare even for Alabama and Clemson to go undefeated, you know. It's hard to stay up at that high of a level every single week. But you're better than everybody else on your schedule with the exception of Alabama and maybe you say North Carolina's a toss-up. But I would think anything less than 10-2 would be disappointing.
Right, yeah. And my point of this call was to get your perspective on Miami. And when Uncle Lou gives the 10-2 prediction for Miami, constantly gives them credit. I think the fans need to shut the hell up and recognize that Uncle Lou is actually giving us probably more credit than we should because we never even performed to your perspective as a Georgia fan in the SEC.
I haven't. I haven't. All right, thanks for the call, Logan. And let me just make it clear that I have not looked at their schedule, so I'm not necessarily predicting right now Miami goes 10-2. I do my prediction videos usually starting in end of May or June or something. And I look at things like road games, back-to-back road games, you know, trap games, like who does Miami play before they play North Carolina? Could they get caught looking ahead? Who does Miami play the week after they play Florida State? You know, big emotional game. I would expect Miami to win that game. But then who do they play after? So I look at a lot of different things. So I'm not officially predicting Miami to go 10-2, but I do think Miami's better than 10 of the teams on their schedule, if their schedule is what I think it is. I mean, just start naming teams in the ACC and ask yourself if you think they're more talented than Miami. Wake Forest, NC State, Pitt, Virginia Tech, Syracuse, Boston College. No, none of those teams are more talented than Miami. I mean, it's not. Georgia Tech. No. We'll get right back to the phones in a second. Let me catch up on the Super Chats. Hey, I really appreciate you guys supporting the show with the Super Chats. You know, it's hard out here in the streets for a college football YouTuber in April or March and May and June and all that. So, you know, it means a lot to me, all the support you guys give me year round. Those of you that stick around year round, man, you're the reason I'm able to do what I do. You know, no matter how much fun the football season is, if no one was watching from January to June, I would not be able to do this full time. So big shout out to those of you who are able to support the show and choose to do it that way. It just means so much to me. Bama Banker, thank you for the super chat. He says you can always count on Lou. I think he was talking about the music at the beginning. For somebody that has no musical ability at all, me, I mean, I famously tell people all the time I can barely clap. I love music, and I love all kinds. I've opened up the show with rap, country, pop, folk, jazz, easy listening, elevator music, theme songs, soundtracks. I mean, you name it. Thank you for the super chat. Golden Blue Dude, thank you for the super chat. He says, I spend all the super chats from my channel on Lou's channel. YouTube loves when you do that because, see, let's say someone gives you $10 on your super chat, Golden Blue Dude. Well, you know, you get $5 and YouTube gets $5. So then you take the $5 that you get and you give it to me. YouTube then gets $2.50 and I get $2.50. So of that initial $10, I made $2.50 and YouTube made $7.50. They love it when that happens. Lizard Circus, thank you for the super chat, sir. Good to see you in here. He says, I got my second dose today. Took off all my clothes today. Chatting here in the nude. Guess I'm getting Uncle Lewd. I see what you did there. You're a poet, and I think you also know it. Yep. Good morning to you. Bama Bankers, thank you again. One of the best quotes I've seen in a while. You can't have $1 million dream on a minimum wage work ethic. listen, if you don't remember anything else you hear on tonight's show, and God hopes you don't remember any of the crap I say, remember that. Somebody, somewhere, is working harder than you. Keep that in your back of your mind. I can't sleep at night thinking about that. Every time I sleep, I'm like, you know what? Somebody's working on a video right now, and here I am sleeping. It drives me. It gives me anxiety. Blake Robinson, thank you for the super chat. He says, "Good morning, Lou. I hope all is well. UJ is still the class of the SEC in spite of the injuries, in my opinion." That's from an Auburn fan. Have a good one. I don't know. Florida would have to be a lot better than what I think they will be, I think, in order for Georgia not to win the East this year. I think Georgia will win the East this year, but, you talk about beating. Let me ask, well, it don't matter. You lose George Pickens, don't matter. Lose Jermaine Burton, don't matter. Let me ask you this. If Georgia were to play Oklahoma, how many points do you think we got to score to win that game? When we play Clemson week 1, how many points do you think we got to score to win that game? When we play Alabama in the SEC title game, how many points do you think we got to score to win that game? The point is this. We've played Alabama a bunch of times. We keep scoring in the 20s, and we keep losing. Let me rewind that for you. We keep scoring in the 20s, and we keep losing. And don't even tell me about the defense. Georgia's defense has been good enough to win a national title every single year for the last 4 years. You have to score points. You have to score a lot of points. I don't know what world people are living in where they go, it doesn't matter if we have Jermaine Pickens and George Burton. It don't matter if we got George Pickens or Jermaine Burton. We got a defense. That's great. That's amazing. We had a Butkus Award winner and a Thorpe Award winner on the same team. Scored in the 20s against Bama and lost. Okay? In 2017, we had the Butkus Award-winning linebacker in Roquan Smith, and we had next year's Thorpe Award-winning corner in DeAndre Baker, and we lost. Because we scored in the 20s. If we would have scored in the 30s, we would have won. You have got to score points. Oh, this just in too. This breaking news just came across the wire. You have to score particularly in the second half. Think back in your head. Okay, 2017. Georgia, I believe, scored 3 points in the second half. 2018 SEC title game. Georgia scored 7 points in the second half. 2020 regular season, Georgia scored 0. In the last 3 games against Alabama, we are averaging like 3 points in the second half. You're not beating a top 10 team, much less a top 4 team, scoring 3 points in the money half. That is not happening. We were beating Alabama at halftime in all 3 of those games. And the offense disappeared in the second half all 3 times. All 3 times. Fromm couldn't score in the second half against Alabama in 17 or 18. And Midgerton couldn't score in the second half last year. Thank you for reminding me of that. The hat says yeet. Yeet, 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 yeet. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Good people. Back to the phones. See what y'all talking about. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou. VicTube, go.
Hey,
this is you.
up,
Yeah,
Lou?
wake up. VicTube. I know you're on hold for a while. Wake up, buddy.
I'm here.
Okay, good. How you doing this evening?
Good.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. yes, I really hope that this Burton injury, hopefully it's just a sprain, I hope, right? I hope it's not bad, right?
Are you asking me if you hope it's not bad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that you hope
that,
it's not bad, yes. I
yeah,
agree.
Okay, good.
I agree with you there.
Yeah.
What's everybody talking about? You sang the national anthem or something. What did you sing?
Yeah, that was, I did that for, my mom, Squid Tard. I think Squid Tard wanted me to, sing the national anthem for the, Tartarian, championship.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good to hear. How'd that go?
Yeah, and then, good.
I bet it did.
And then yes, then I sent it to C-Dog, and he's supposed to add in his part of him playing the kazoo. Yeah, I don't know. I guess he's gonna dub in the kazoo, I guess.
Is he gonna use his electric kazoo?
Yeah.
What's the primary difference between an acoustic kazoo and an electric kazoo?
Well, the electric one you plug in, and the acoustic one you don't.
Right, but so is it just
louder?
Is it just louder, or is there some other advantage that the electric kazoo has over the regular kazoo?
Yeah, I guess it's almost louder. I guess it can be my mom hooked up to a microphone.
Okay, good. But you can't hook a regular kazoo up to a microphone?
No. Well, I guess you could play a regular kazoo into a microphone. But.
Right, because can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Do you know what a harmonica is?
Yeah.
Ever heard of an electric harmonica?
Yeah.
I haven't. I just see people play the harmonica into a microphone. Like famous people.
Yeah, I've seen people play the harmonica while they're in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess in old Western movies, right?
Right.
And I also want to say, that one of my favorite SpongeBob episodes got canceled.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna be okay, but it was one of the classics, but.
And how are you handling that?
They took it off of Amazon. I made a video about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll. Okay, what was it canceled for?
Oh, it was canceled for the panty raid scene.
Right. And who canceled it?
I guess you're gonna miss the panty raid. Nickelodeon did. I guess.
Nickelodeon canceled a panty raid.
Well, the episode was called Midlife Crustacean.
Well, I'm triggered.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
I'm very upset. I'm
yes
angry about it.
Yeah,
and I'm going to make
too.
a bunch of posts on Facebook about it.
Yeah, it's the episode where Mr. Krabs feels old. Yes, so then he Mom goes on a night on the town with SpongeBob and Patrick.
I'm not watching SpongeBob anymore, and I want everyone to know that.
I know. Yeah, I know. No, why did they? I know they had to cancel it, and they didn't even ask the rest of us if that was okay. They just went and did it. They didn't even ask Mike Vick or Uncle Lou or anybody. They just went and did it.
Right. They didn't even take a poll or nothing. You said. They didn't call you.
No.
They didn't email you.
No. SpongeBob, if Sponge Lives Matter.
What else is on your mind, VicTube?
Oh, that was it.
Well, I appreciate you keeping me up to date on cancel culture.
Yeah. Yeah, cancel culture sucks.
Yeah. All right, VicTube. Thank you for the call.
Yeah, thank you, too.
Okay. We'll talk to you next time. VicTube calling in with our cancel update that everyone was waiting on. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Lou.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
Doing great.
What's up? I'm actually a student at UGA. Some of my buddies are listening to the show right now, so I thought I'd give you a call. But yeah, I just want to say I'm a huge fan, man. You guys, you do a great job.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah.
I listen to your videos. Listen to your videos every day.
How long you been there? What are you, a junior or what are you?
I'm a senior. Yeah, I'm a senior.
Okay.
So my friends are seniors as well.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna be here another year, but yeah, man, you do a great job. Make me laugh all the time, and anything I can do to spread you like around campus, let me know.
Yeah. Well, who's the biggest asshole on the team?
Jack Fromm, for sure. I mean, I've heard so many bad stories about that guy. I've heard a lot of bad stories about that guy.
I like you.
Him putting his feet up. Yeah. Jack Fromm, he got married, actually.
Well, he got engaged, yeah.
Okay, yeah, he got engaged. Yeah. Jack Fromm.
To a dump truck.
I hear Easton was pretty bad when he was here.
I've had people call in before that were at school back in the 2000s, and they said he was such a dick. No, wait a minute. I'm talking about Matthew Stafford. You said Easton. No, I've heard that about Easton too, though.
Oh yeah, Easton.
Not as much as about Stafford, but yeah, I heard he showed up. Football culture down here is different than where he was from out there, and he was probably pampered and all. He got here and had to work, and maybe he was a little bit entitled. Was kind of the idea I got about Easton.
Right. I feel you. What do you think about our basketball team?
Shit. It's a joke. It's a joke.
It's embarrassing, man. I don't get it. I don't get how these random ass teams can just like come into the tourney and make noise, and we can't even get
there.
The second worst team.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not somebody that's like, we need to be as good as Kentucky. Like, no, but we should be able to make the tournament once per graduating class. Like, you've been at UJ 4 years. You should have been able to see one UGA team make the tournament, but you haven't. And that's unacceptable. We should be good enough once every 4 years at least to make the tournament.
Yeah, and the games aren't exciting, really, to be honest. Like,
no, the place is a dump. I call it Stegman Mausoleum. The place is a dump. I mean, nobody wants to go there.
Yeah, people climb up on it all the time.
Yeah,
they had to put up like barriers to keep people from climbing on it. So
I mean, we had the number one pick in the NBA draft last season, and still sucked.
Yeah.
Do you know how hard it is to do that?
Yeah, especially with basketball. Yeah.
Tom Green's on borrowed time. He better get it together.
For sure. Well, it's good talking to you, man. I'll probably call in sometime again.
Yeah, I appreciate you calling in. What's your name?
Yeah.
First name?
Joel.
Joel. Shout out to you, Joel. Shout out to all your boys listening to Uncle Lou. Spread the word.
Yeah, for sure.
Hashtag LouTube. Thank you for calling in, sir. Appreciate you listening. Yeah, usually a lot of times I get people call in and they'll say, "Stop, you stop, delete your YouTube channel." You know, you give UJ people a bad name. Well, yeah. Good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou.
Lou, Carolina Jackpot checking in.
Jackpot, what's up, buddy? How you been?
I've been great. How are you?
I'm good. You calling in to give us a Clemson update?
Clemson update.
Yeah, you
what would I be updating them about?
Hell, you might turn your channel into a Deshaun Watson 24-hour Deshaun Watson news channel. They said, "Lou, what do you think about Deshaun Watson?" I said, "I don't know. Let me go check Jackpot's channel and see how many more women he done assaulted. I don't know."
That's Rob. He likes talking about Deshaun humping the air and getting parts of his body and towels falling off of him mysteriously. But that's not me. That's him. Hey, I put like you were saying. It's April. No, it's March. Right? It's fixing to be April.
Yeah.
We got to be some kind of content to put out there.
Right. No, I feel you. It's harder. The first thing I do every morning is look on ESPN and pray to God there's bad news on there that'll give me something to make a video about, but that it doesn't relate to Georgia some kind of way. But yeah, you're right. It's you got to take whatever you can get when it comes to content this time of year.
Exactly. So, I've seen you doing the early schedule analysis videos, and I put in a submission for one that I'd like to see you do. But I mean, how you feeling about my my Gamecocks in 2021, and the gentleman who was one of the factors that helped lead you guys to a playoff appearance in 2017, that being Coach Shane Beamer. Any love for Shane?
Yeah, I like Shane Beamer. I like Shane Beamer. It's hard to know how anybody's going to do as a head coach until they get there and do it, you know. And generally speaking, I'm not very high on teams in the first year of a coaching change. There are some exceptions, but generally speaking, you don't get blown away in a coach's. I mean, people were ready to run Kirby out of town his first year. We were 8-5, you know. So without having even looked at their schedule, I mean, you're losing to Georgia, Clemson, and Texas A&M. I do think you might. You play Florida. Florida plays us, and then you. I think we'll see how Florida looks. That could be like an upset. You know, that could be like y'all's win you get this year that maybe people don't expect. But
I don't know that would be an upset. I mean, they recruited okay, but for Florida, I don't think it's great recruiting. I think that Dan Mullen has not recruited up to what the expectations should be at Florida.
Oh, he's a terrible recruiter.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, he's a terrible recruiter. He doesn't like recruiting. He doesn't put the time, effort, or energy in that he needs to, and it shows. But so other than Clemson, are your other 3 non-con games all wins? I don't know who they're. I'm assuming are they 3 lower like
They should be. South Carolina. The first game of the season is against Eastern Illinois. We've got Troy at home. Both those should be wins. They do have a road game against East Carolina. It's a non-Power 5 school. Why they're going there to play, I don't know. But that's a sneaky thing, and that's scary for me. And this is the kind of game that it's embarrassing to say that's a toss-up. But, I mean, the product we put on the field the past few years, I'm putting it in toss-up category because East Carolina has gotten better. the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And they've got a decent quarterback coming back.
Who do you draw from the
Hey.
West? I know you play Texas A&M every year. Who else do you have this year from over there?
It's Auburn again.
Auburn, okay.
At home.
I mean, the same thing.
Yeah.
New coaching staff there. I'll tell you this, without having looked at the schedule or really looked into it at all, if you go 3-1 in your non-con, I think you'll make a bowl game. If you can't beat those 3 non-con games, I think you're looking at another 4 or 5 win season.
Well, I mean, Auburn, they took Mike Bobo. They took the offensive line coach who we had for a week. I don't know his name. Didn't really even care to learn it. And then they took Tracy Rocker, and then he gave them the big old finger out the door and went to the NFL. I mean, they want everything Gamecock. I mean, I've got a dirty pair of drawers in the back that are used. I mean, I have an old Kleenex that I used. I have a number 2 pencil I used back in the 3rd grade. I mean, they can have all those things too. I mean, they're all South Carolina things that were used.
Well, what about Georgia?
I mean,
what about Georgia getting the head cock, though? Georgia got the cock of the walk.
Georgia, like you said, I mean, he always worked for the University of Georgia. Now he's returning home. It's like he's returning home with his. He's got the Gator staff, the Gator head on one staff, the Gamecock head on another.
Yeah.
Okay. All he needs is a ball tard thing hanging somewhere too.
Yeah.
And he didn't have enough time. Not enough years there to go up there and ruin that thing. But hey, it ruined itself, right?
Yeah.
So there you go with that.
That's the other thing. You got to find a way to beat the man. That was I mean, y'all were both bad teams, but that was the first game of the season last year. That South Carolina Tennessee game. That was a hell of a game. I mean, that was a great game to watch. I mean, it was a close game. Those are you gotta. I mean, you know this, but South Carolina's got to start winning those games because South Carolina's not in a spot right. And I know you beat Georgia a couple of years ago. You're not an idiot. You know that was just one of those fluke things. So you got to win those sort of 50-50 games with Tennessee. You mentioned East Carolina, Kentucky. You have to win those because you're not likely to beat the Texas A&Ms, the Georgias, the Clemsons. So you got to win those other sort of 50-50 games. You got to get to 6 or 7 wins before you can get to 8 or 9. I mean, Auburn went from 3 wins to 12 one year, but that's very rare. It's usually a stair-stepping process when you're that low. You know, you're just sitting there 3-4 wins or whatever. Then you usually say, okay, let's get to a bowl game. Okay, next year maybe we go 7-5 or 8-4, and then you start saying, okay, maybe let's make a run at double digits here, that kind of thing. You got to start winning those close games with the Tennessees and the Kentuckys and the teams like that.
Yeah. Well, last year, I mean, to that point, the Tennessee game, shot in the foot. I mean, a lot of that was, at the end of the game, we had the kid that he dropped the punt.
Yep.
It should have been a win. We're down 7 points driving. Will Muschamp decides, hey, it'd be a great idea. Let's kick a field goal from 40-something yards out with a minute something left. I mean, just dumb stuff. I mean, and bad in-game coaching, and that's just the mantra of his whole coaching career there. I mean, when you're at, like you say, when you're at a disadvantage, you got a talent disadvantage. In a lot of cases, I mean, you have to be a good in-game coach. You have to be able to take advantage of, time of possession and that type of thing. You have to be a good clock manager. I mean, it was not that at all.
Yeah.
We weren't going to grind it out, kick a field goal, go, and then, stop them with, three tries in 30 seconds and get the ball back and score. I mean, it just wasn't going to happen. I mean, that's dumb stuff that happened under him. But I agree with you. I mean, it's baby steps. They have to start being able to win the winnable games.
Yes.
I've been talking about that. I've been bitching about that. I have been blowing up about that on YouTube for the past 5 damn years.
Yeah.
Win the winnable game. and everything else takes care of itself. If you win the winnable games and you lose the games that you're probably supposed to lose, guess what? You'll probably still end up in a bowl game.
Because the thing is, winning is contagious. Winning is contagious, but so is losing. You know, if you've got juniors and seniors on your team who have lost almost every close game they've been involved in the fourth quarter, and then they look up on the scoreboard and there's 10 minutes to go and they're down 3 or up 3, they're thinking in their head, we're gonna lose. You know, winning is contagious, but so is losing. You got to flip that mindset around. It's hard to do. Oh.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, when you haven't been there before.
Right.
It definitely is when you haven't been there before, or you haven't been there in a long time. I mean, it was South Carolina went from 2013 to 2015. I mean, just in a 2-year span, we totally flipped. I mean, just expectations, on the field results. I mean, it totally went from fringe top 10 to just utter disaster.
Well, when Steve Spurrier when Steve Spurrier stopped recruiting and stopped coaching, but kept the title of head coach, that put y'all back 5 years. I mean, he stayed there 2 years too long. He quit recruiting 2 years before he quit. You know, he quit coaching 2 years before he quit, and that set y'all way back.
Oh, it definitely did. It definitely did. And then, I mean, when he did quit though, in 2015, he quit, dude. He quit the second week in October.
Right after Georgia hung 52 on you.
Yeah, we had it was after UGA. It was the next week. It was after South Carolina went and lost 45-21 at LSU, which was supposed to be a home game against LSU, but it got moved to LSU because the hurricane rains from that hurricane came through, whatever, and it got moved to LSU, that's kind of weird. I mean, because the hurricane stuff usually affect that area of the world. Right. But anyway, notwithstanding that, we lost bad, and then he hung it up that Tuesday after that game, and we had a 6-week jump on everybody else in college football who lost their head coach, who decided to part ways, and the best they could come up with was a guy who got fired for not doing good at his last job.
Yeah,
that's bad.
Yeah, you were the first team with an opening and the last team to fill it. That's never good.
Yeah, and the team that filled it probably with the least amount of quality.
Agreed. All right, Jackpot. Thank you for the call, buddy. Good to hear from you. Thank you for y'all subscribe to Carolina Jackpot, South Carolina fan if you're not already. Best post game rage videos on the internet.
I'm just a little bit perturbed.
I don't blame you. Good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's up, buddy?
Hey, first time caller. I've been watching a few of your recent videos on some schedule analysis. Figured I'd tune in tonight.
Oh, I appreciate that.
See what's going on.
Yeah, good to hear from you. Who are you? Who are you a fan of?
Oh, the best team in the Southeast, Georgia.
Oh, my man. All right, I like you.
So I got a few questions that I think are pretty relevant to today's topics going on right now. One, how much does an electric kazoo cost? Because I think that's a pretty good question.
Yeah, we'd have to ask, and of course he's a Georgia Tech fan, the guy I'm talking about with the electric kazoo. So that which just makes perfect sense in a whole lot of ways. But that's a great question. Honestly, I have no idea. I know a regular kazoo costs about $0.25. I'm going to assume an electric kazoo probably costs $1.25.
See, I was willing to pay at least like $150 for like an electric kazoo. I mean, you got to put like an aux cord on that thing.
Well, now you're talking about high end.
$150.
You're talking about a high end electric kazoo there. $1.50.
Yeah, I mean, play with 24K gold. Something fancy. Maybe I'd have platinum. I don't know.
Even has a sticker on it or something.
Second question. Why does it seem like we have these major injuries in spring and most of them are non-contact? Like Well, what's your take on that, or your opinion on why they occur? How do you fix it?
I think they're freak accidents. I don't. Maybe the one thing I would kind of scratch my head on maybe would have been Zamir White's injury. He blew his knee out his senior year of high school, rehabbed, showed up at Georgia. They cleared him in the summer, and they had him practicing as a gunner on a punt team in practice 8 months out from ACL surgery, but it was his other knee that he blew. So even that, so I don't, the non-contact things, I didn't play in college, but I played high school football. The running back on our team one year blew his knee out on a toss sweep. He planted his knee in the ground. It was a sweep to the right. He planted his right foot in the ground to cut up field, and everything stopped moving except his knee, and it blew his knee out, and it was just one of those things. I don't know that there's anything, people will point to conditioning and things like that, but I don't know if there's anything you do to completely prevent it. I don't want to place any blame or anything like that on it. I wouldn't know where to place the blame. It does seem like we've had a rash of these injuries lately, but, you go back to like 2017, we had almost no injuries at all that entire year. I think the same starting 22 in game 1 was the same starting 22 in game 15. Extremely lucky, no injuries. Yeah, so I think luck has more to do with it than anything else, and I would hate to place blame anywhere. Some Alabama fans are not too high on Scott Cochran. They say some of his, of course, he's a strength and conditioning guy, or he was at Alabama. They say that some of his techniques lead to some of those kinds of things. I don't know. I tend to think it's more just dumb luck than anything else.
Exactly. I mean, I was reading some articles earlier on like some of the up-and-coming strength and conditioning guys, trying to push the body to its, physical limits, which is, what you need MSC to compete every weekend. And they're saying that, once you push it to its verge, it just begins to break down. And they're saying, these young guys come in trying to build the biggest, fastest, strongest team, and it's weakening every muscle and ligament. It's hard to keep doing that, every day during the week, during practice, and then especially even during games.
I mean, and I'm sure there's some truth to that too, but 20 years ago, there was no such thing as strength and conditioning coaches, and people were getting injured, and everybody said, oh, you know what we need to stop these injuries? Strength and conditioning coaches. Now we have strength and conditioning coaches, and the strength and conditioning is what's causing the injury. So I don't really know enough about it, and I hate to place blame on an injury that, listen, people have stepped off the curb to check their mail and tore their ACL. It's unfortunate, but it happens. And I don't know the numbers. Obviously, Georgia has been hit, particularly at the wide receiver and running back position, with ACL type stuff. It seems like more than the average team over the last 5 or 6 years, going all the way back really to Keith Marshall and Nick Chubb, who both blew their knees out. Both at Tennessee, but I'm sure that's just a coincidence. That cow pasture they call a football field. But so I don't know. I hate to place any blame anywhere, and I don't know if it just seems like it happens to Georgia players more because I'm a Georgia fan and that's the team I pay the most attention to. I mean, listen, for all we know, there's 5 backups on South Carolina's team who have blown their knee in spring practice, and we just don't know because they're backup players or we don't pay attention to South Carolina or whatever the case is. It's happened to some high-profile players at Georgia. Jalen Waddle broke his leg. Whose fault was that? At Alabama, I don't know. I don't know that it was anyone's fault, was it? So I don't know. I really don't know.
So I live down in Florida, and I go to the Georgia-Florida game every year up there in Jacksonville. Yeah, I said it correctly, Georgia-Florida, because Georgia's the best. And I've been reading some things about like this thing called like a COVID passport that they're trying to do. Like you got to show like proof of vaccination to be able to get into like concerts and games this year. I mean, do you think that's an overreach on personal privacy, or I hate getting political.
If that's what we have to do to get 100,000 people in the stadium, then I'm all for it. I don't have a problem I don't have a problem with that. I mean, we've been doing that in this society for 100 years. I mean, I don't know if you have any kids or not, but try sending them to public school without their vaccination record.
Exactly. You got to have your
can't.
vaccine shot.
Right.
Yep, all the records.
The only thing I'm against is the government forcing it. If Walmart wants to pay somebody $10 an hour to stand at the door and check vaccination cards, or you can't come in, hey, God bless them. If it's a problem for me, I won't go to Walmart. You know, if Sanford Stadium wants to check vaccination cards for entry into the stadium, I honestly don't think it's going to come to that. But but we'll see. I would rather be able to go see Tool this fall and have to show a vaccination card than to not be able to go see Tool.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. So you just find it to be overreach when the government says you got to do this versus
right. I see a big difference between the government forcing you to do something in a private business, and also, I also don't believe that if I have to wear a mask into whatever Walmart, I also don't believe that somehow threatens my freedom. I'm not that ignorant, and also, I'm not such an unhealthy mess that I can't breathe with one on.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't breathe with a mask on, you probably don't need to be walking around Walmart anyway. You probably need to be at Gold's Gym on a treadmill.
At least in elliptical, you know,
right,
a little bit lower impact.
Right. Yeah.
So, but man, I enjoyed it, man. I'm glad you got a pretty level head. You know, I enjoyed it. I thought, you know, something like the other ones that called in, like, you know, a big one on SEC Network where they don't like opinions that go against Disney World and all kinds of other stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, now I do love to argue, so you'll hear me argue from time to time. I'm passionate about what I believe, but I've tried real hard to make this channel a place where fans from all teams can come. Not obviously, I'm a Georgia fan. I don't try to hide that, but I'm a college football fan. Georgia's my favorite team, no doubt about it. But I think college football is the greatest sport on earth. I've tried real hard to make this a place where everybody can come and talk about college football, no matter who their team is. But arguing is part of college football, so don't be surprised if the next time you call in, I'm not so agreeable, because I have strong opinions like everybody else does. But like I said, to me, that's part of that's just part of it.
Good, man. Well, you enjoy your night. I enjoy it. You got a new fan, got a new subscriber on YouTube. Keep it going. I really enjoy the content.
All right. Yeah, I appreciate you calling in. Glad you found the channel. Don't forget to tell all your friends and coworkers to do the same. They'll thank you later. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Good morning, Uncle Lou. It's Michael. How you doing tonight, sir?
Doing great, Michael.
Hey, one question. I was just trying to figure out. I know you do the worst of the worst and the underachievers, but have you ever thought about doing an overachiever tournament? The 14?
I don't know that. No, I don't think we've ever done that before.
Okay, I was just wondering. I didn't know if this would be something you might have talked about like that this summer, or doing it in the future and stuff. And how do you go about getting Purdue fans like me and Zach and stuff like that back on to stay positive with Coach Baum, considering he's probably going to be on the hot seat for having his third defensive coordinator in 3 years? And with Brad Labor, I don't think he said you know much about him.
Yeah, Braum is a perfect example of why the expression exists, strike while the iron is hot. Braum could have had almost any job opening he wanted 2 years ago. Now, I'd be surprised if anybody would hire him as a head coach. He was on everyone's list 2 years ago. Now, Purdue doesn't even want him. So that's why these people like Matt Campbell at Iowa State are playing with fire. They're playing with fire because these athletic directors and these school presidents, they have short memories. No one's going to care that Iowa State was really, really good if in 2 years they're winning 4 games and all of a sudden Matt Campbell's looking for a job. No one's going to care that they were good a couple of years in 2019. You have to strike while the iron is hot. If you're at one of these schools, no offense, like Purdue, like Iowa State, and it's your goal to coach football permanently and you want to whatever, and you have a chance to go to one of these big football schools, you better go when you get the chance, because people aren't going to hire you because of what you did 5 years ago. If you suck now, they're just not going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but like with Georgia and stuff, you were talking about injuries and stuff like that. With the 2019 season, I think people had high expectations and stuff. But when you lose key players, like your key players due to injuries, like you had 2 players go down on the same play in a Minnesota game, run down more than Elijah Sidler. Do you think that can mess with the team's psyche also?
I think it depends on the injury. If it's something out of the norm, yeah. But these guys have been playing football since they were 7 or 8 years old. They've seen almost every injury you can see. Like I said, anytime they have to bring the golf cart out, yes, I think things like that can affect a team. But I hate to call any injury average or normal. But there are some injuries we just see a lot. Concussions, torn ACLs, and those are terrible injuries. But you just you get used to seeing them if you've played football long enough. Now, if they got to bring the cart out and somebody's not moving and they have to do one of the thumbs up things, that's different. You don't see that very often. So I think things like that could have an effect, but not the injuries that you tend to see a lot of. Hey, thank you for the call. Michael, we're running really, really late, so I'm trying to move through kind of quick. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Lou, it's Coy in Gainesville, buddy.
Hey, Coy, what's up, bud?
Hey, first of all, do you realize how many Walmart shoppers you just offended by saying you should be healthy enough to breathe through a mask?
Yeah, all the ones that are in there riding that damn cart around and they ain't got nothing. They ain't got nothing. If you're riding the cart and the only physical ailment you have is your weight, just think about it.
Yeah, but you just wrote off 95% of their clientele, just making you aware of that. So be ready for the emails.
Yeah.
But hey, Carolina Jackpot. I'm sorry. I absolutely love his channel. There is no one more real or genuine during Carolina losses than him.
Yeah.
And I think I laugh at his stuff because I'm looking in the mirror when Georgia loses. I pretty much act the same way. But he's I would picture him to sympathize with me actually being a Georgia fan right now more than anyone else. At this point, it's like there's a higher power involved. This stuff is uncanny. Look, man, I've been a Georgia fan. I was born in 76. I was 4 years old the last time we won a national title. I grew up in Gainesville during the 90s. And I know you were in high school during the 90s. You know how bad it was, but you weren't in Gainesville.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when Rick comes along, I told all my buddies, I said, look, worst case scenario is he sucks and, we're done with him in 4 or 5 years. Well, actually, worst case scenario is he wins enough to keep his job, but he loses to Florida on a regular basis. Well, guess what happened?
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened. Yeah. Exactly. He lost to some horrible Florida teams. There's no shame in losing to a couple of those Urban Meyer teams, but he lost to Zook, just horrible, horrible Florida teams. And when this season rolled around with all the talent we had at the offensive skill positions, I told my buddies, I said, look, we've been through this before. You know what's going to happen. And I'll be damned. We didn't even make it to April.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not scout team guys. Your number 1 and number 2 wide receiver gone.
Right.
And I don't need to hear the official result for Burton. We already know. We're Georgia. We know what happened. He's gone. He's done. And I don't understand how one team can be this unlucky. For all of the rival fans who are listening, we hear the 1980 stuff year after year after year. You don't understand. We cannot keep our players on the field. I don't understand what it is. It's for all the new recruits that are coming in and all this hoopla. God bless you. The red and black loves you, but why? At this point,
well,
I'm just, man, talk me off the ledge here. What?
Well, somebody brought this up about the recruits the other day, and you have to understand. We've been Georgia fans, me and you especially, longer than these recruits have been alive.
Yes.
Okay. And they know Georgia hasn't won a national title, but they also know Georgia's one of the best 4 football programs in America right now. And does a recruit want to win a national title? Of course. Athletes want to win. If you ever played anything at any level, you want to win. Of course you do. But these high-end, these 5-star and high 4-stars, they have goals above and beyond winning a national title. And we don't like to hear that because we're Georgia fans, and I could care less whether a guy is selling insurance or playing in the NFL after he's gone. But they come to Georgia to go to the NFL. They come to Georgia to be on high-profile games 4 or 5 times a year. That's why they come. They're not Georgia fans. Now, some of them are. Particularly, the kids from Georgia, some of them are. But, do you think Lavoisier Carroll grew up a Georgia fan? No. Do you think JT Daniels grew up a Georgia fan? No. Zamir White? No. DeAndre Swift? No. Matt Stafford? No. People clown Matt Stafford all they want. Who's the most successful NFL player to come out of Georgia in the last 20 years? It's Matt Stafford.
Good point.
AJ Green is great. He's been riddled with injuries late in his career, but so people, me and you are frustrated. The recruits see Georgia as an amazing place to be. And if we slow down a little bit and think about it, they have every reason to feel that way. Georgia is in position almost every single November to win a national title. Now, I know the national title is won in January. I get that. Believe me, and nobody wants to win a national title more than me. There's a lot of people who want to win one just as much, but there's nobody that wants to win one more. But think about all the teams whose season is over every single year when the calendar hits October 1st. You talked about the 90s. I remember what that's like. I remember going into a season going, not even wondering if we could beat Florida, knowing we couldn't beat them. And just going, well, we get 10 wins. And how many times do we go to the Outback Bowl in a row? Yeah. Under Rick even. So we're so far. Okay, you remember where we were under Goff? Okay.
Yeah.
And then forget Donnan for a second. Although I don't think Donnan gets enough credit in general, but that's a whole different conversation. Skip Donnan.
I agree.
Rick took us to a place so far past where Ray Goff had us. It's not even funny. And I don't think anyone would disagree. Kirby has taken us just as far past Rick as Rick took us past Goff. People can tell me all they want about the records and the win totals and blah, 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 blah. Kirby Smart is so far past Mark Richt, it's not even close. Yes, Georgia had some 10-win seasons. We didn't have very many seasons where we were a national title contender in November. Kirby's been a national title contender in November 3 out of 5 years.
Yeah.
So, I have to remind myself this. So I'm going to remind you and all the other Georgia fans, we're not Alabama either. We really shouldn't be in a national title or bust mentality. The only reason we are is because it's been so long since we won one and we can't stand it anymore. And I get that, but we're not, we're not Alabama. Georgia could go, if Georgia were to lose in the national title game this coming year, I'd be disappointed when the game ended. A week later, I would go, what a great season. Now, Alabama fans don't do that for obvious reasons. They've won, 6 of the last 12? whatever it is, 5 of the last 12. Clemson probably doesn't even do that. Clemson probably considers last year a disappointment. There aren't very many teams, I don't think, who have a right to feel that way, and I don't think Georgia's one of them. We've made the playoffs once.
No. Yeah, and look, we're not Alabama, but you know what? Neither is Clemson. Neither is LSU.
Right.
Neither is Auburn.
And that's
they broke through one or 2 years.
And that's the problem. Auburn has had maybe 2 teams in the last 20 years good enough to win a national title, but they capitalized once.
Yes.
Georgia's had 4 teams good enough to win a national title in the last 20 years and hasn't capitalized a single time. That's the problem.
Yes.
It's not that Georgia's a national title team every year. We're not. We weren't a national title team this past year. We weren't a national title team in 19. We were a national title team in 17. We were a national title team in 12. We were a national title team in 7. And we were a national title team in 02. And we didn't capitalize a single time.
Yeah. And let me say this, and it hurts worse growing up, when I did and where I did, but I was sitting in the end zone in 2012 when we couldn't cross the goal. I was sitting in that goal, in that end zone, okay, in 2012. Was it 2005 that Shockley got hurt against playing Vanderbilt when he stepped on some uneven turf when we had a team that was red hot? And all I wanted was to beat Florida. Well, the game before Florida, he steps on some uneven turf against Vanderbilt, blows his knee out, and we had Joe Tereshinski at quarterback after that. And the list of that stuff goes on and on and on. And I don't disagree with you. We're not Alabama. I truly get that. The problem is, for whatever reason, the football gods make damn sure we are not going to get the job done. And this year, it's over before it starts. I'm sorry, but look, when we lost Pickens, I understood you saying, look, I'm not ready to throw in the towel, but you lose your number 1 and your number 2 wide receiver in March. I mean, it's obvious, man. There's something. This is, you can't explain this stuff. It is so predictable. I told my buddies, look, if you're mad about Pickens, I got news for you. Something else is coming, and damn, it didn't take a week.
Yeah. Yeah, not the
because
news,
I've been a Georgia fan my whole life. I know what's coming.
Yeah, you knew what to expect, unfortunately. All right, Coy, hang in there, buddy. We'll keep our fingers crossed on Burton. Maybe we'll get some good news. I don't know. Thank you for calling in, sir. I appreciate it. Sam W. says, what could a lineman do to become the Heisman winner? Well, if you're talking about an offensive lineman, nothing. If you're talking about a defensive lineman, basically nothing. 30 sacks, though, he would get some consideration. What was the guy's name for Ohio State a couple of years ago, 2 seasons ago? He was the best player in football. Defensive end / outside linebacker for Ohio State. I'm drawing a blank. Somebody tell me who that was. He was the best player in college football. And he didn't win it. But you get somebody that gets like 30 sacks. Chase Young, thank you. 2 a game, 2 sacks a game over the course of a season, 30 sacks. Maybe, but it's going to be next to impossible. It's basically a quarterback award, and it literally is an offensive award. Good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou.
Uncle Lou.
Yeah.
What's happening, baby?
What's up, buddy?
Hey, long-time fan, man. This is Eli James.
I appreciate you calling in.
Yeah, hey, man. I'm still looking for my prize.
Well, where all have you looked?
From you, man. Last season, I made a super chat, and you were asking, it was the beginning of the season, you were asking for predictions of the South Carolina Tennessee game. And I gave you a super chat, and I'm like, I got Georgia Southern. And you laugh about it. You're like, you win. I don't know what you win, but you win. So I'm still waiting on my winning prize.
Oh, okay. Probably got lost in the mail.
No, hey man, it's all good, man. I've been a long time fan, and I love the people that call in, and anybody that calls in that's a fan of Uncle Lou. I just got to say, for a couple of them, marijuana is a hell of a drug, But that being said, there's just so much. with that being said, man, I just want to say, hey, I was born in Warner Robins, home of Jack Fromm, and I'm calling you from the People's Republic of Illinois, home of the SIU Salukis that ended North Carolina State's winning record. I don't know if you picked that up yet.
NC State's winning record. No, I don't know about that.
No, North Dakota State.
Oh, North Dakota State. Gotcha.
North Dakota State had 39 wins. SIU Salukis. Look them up. I'm going to send you a helmet, all right?
Sounds good. Yeah, I do remember that. I do remember that was the team that snapped that streak. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Here at home, man. I'm living in the People's Republic of Illinois. But you know what? I agree with you, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like the Chicago Cubs, the GOAT thing. But is there any one team that seems more unluckier than us, Georgia? Than the Bulldogs.
Well, Tennessee struggles to win. Tennessee struggles to win 4 games for the last 15 years. That seems pretty unlucky.
Well, yeah, that's right. But it's just like it seems to me like year after year. You and me and all the other UGA fans, we look into it. And we're like, okay, man, we got AJ Green, we got Todd Gurley. AJ Green gets a suspension. Todd Gurley gets a suspension.
Yeah.
People go down, and it's just like Jacob Eason. What's he on the first series? He goes down, and we get jacked.
Yeah.
Granted, we went to the playoffs.
And no doubt about it. It's definitely been frustrating.
Yeah.
And I do think I've had this conversation with people before. Like, if you're a fan of, let's say, Tennessee, South Carolina, Kentucky, I get that. You've been bad for a while or whatever, and that sucks.
Right.
But there is something different to being. I'll even go back to the Mark Richt days when you almost just knew heading into the season. All right, well, we're gonna go 9-3 and win a bowl game, and we'll finish 10-3. Now,
right,
we're so close now. Like the frustration level, it's hard to, if you're not a Georgia fan. Okay. It's hard to understand because even like the last caller said, Auburn capitalized in 2010. LSU has capitalized a few times. Southern Cal won 1 or 2 or whatever it was. Texas won 1. I mean, just the list on and on and on and on and on. And Georgia has been as good as those teams several times over the last 15 years. And it never seems to line up right. And it's a level of frustration. Like, Tennessee fans will tell me, oh, look at, you're complaining about winning 12 games. We can't even make a bowl. And I get it. And listen, if Georgia was sitting here winning 4, 5, 6 games a year, I would be losing my mind too.
Yeah.
So I understand that too. But it's a different kind of frustrating when you really feel that, man, we really have a chance. And I know people will say the whole wait till next year thing, and Georgia says this every offseason. Well, the reason is Georgia fans aren't the only ones saying it. I mean, literally every football analyst on planet Earth is going to tell you that Georgia is one of the best 4 or 5 places to be right now if you're looking to win a national title. It just hasn't worked out.
Absolutely.
Would I trade places with Tennessee, man, or something? No. It is frustrating to be close all the time and always the bridesmaid, never the bride, that kind of thing. It is frustrating, but I'd rather be playing meaningful games every November that end with a New Year's Six Bowl than to have no point in even watching my team by the middle of October every year, which is what happens to most teams.
Right.
There's only 4 or 5. Come November, there ain't but 5 or 6 teams still playing football in November that even have a chance to win a national title. And Georgia's been one of those teams 3 of the last 5 years. So, I'll
and we're resigned to that.
Yeah.
We're resigned to that. We don't hear about, this second string or third string went down. It's always the key players, And, we've had Alabama beat how many times, Lou, in the last 4 years? 3 years.
3.
3 going into that national championship game, we were a blown coverage away from winning the national title. Come on, man.
Yeah.
You know.
And if you go back to 2012, we were better or as good as Alabama. What?
Absolutely.
3 of the last 4 times we played them. 2015, they blew us out in Athens. The year Mark Richt got fired, they blew us out. 2012, we were just as good as Bama. 2017, we were better than Bama. 2018, we were better than Bama.
Absolutely.
And 2020, Bama was probably better than us in 2020, but we were beating them at
Sure.
halftime
Oh,
again.
yeah.
I mean, so it's frustration on a level that you can't imagine if you're not a Georgia fan.
Right. And then 2012, what was that? Aaron Murray senior year.
Yeah.
And we were on the go ahead drive.
Yeah, 4-yard line.
And Fromm threw it short, and the kid, I forget who the wide receiver was. And again, I know you're in the moment. If he would have just knocked that ball down, knowing he was short of the first down or the goal line, we had one more attempt.
Yeah.
But like you said, we were, and it's just the frustration level is beyond. But again, like you said, I would be in our situation more so than Tennessee, South Carolina, Kentucky.
Right. I
But
mean,
it's
name a list of teams that you would trade places with right now. The list is not very long.
None.
Bama, Clemson,
No.
Oklahoma, Ohio
None.
State. I can't think of any other team right now that you would want to trade places with to think you had a better, a better shot or whatever. They don't exist.
Right.
Hey, thank you for the call. I got to move along. I'm way over time here. This is going to be the last call. Good morning. You're on with Uncle Lou.
Hey, Uncle Lou. It's Kevin from Beaufort.
Hey, what's up, Kevin?
How you doing, man?
Doing good. You?
Hey, doing good, man. After those last 2 calls, I guess I'm a little bit depressed. I'm a big UGA fan, but it seems all doom and gloom.
Yeah, when you start talking UGA reality, it can be a sad situation.
Yeah, I was kind of reflecting on some of that. It takes a little bit of luck. I'll give you a couple examples, right? In 2011, Alabama lost to LSU in the regular season, but then they got to play them again in the national title.
Right.
So, that's a little bit of luck, right? And then in 2017, Alabama was not an SEC champion, but they got to go to the playoffs and go on to win a national title. So
yeah,
I know all the frustration with UGA fans. I'm not a Disney dog by any means. I'm a realist, but I think it takes a little bit of luck sometimes to win a national title.
I agree with you. And
opinion.
luck can be the ball bouncing a certain way for you in the fourth quarter of a critical game. Luck can be Georgia in 1980, Buck Bellew hitting Lindsey Scott on a crossing route from his own end zone, and Lindsey Scott running 80 yards for a touchdown. Luck can be not getting key players lost for the season in spring practice. And I agree with you too. Bama's been the best team a lot of years. Some luck has gone into it, whether it's key players not getting injured or whatever the case. There's always a little bit of luck somewhere along the season at some point, or even before the season. Because luck can be good or bad. You lose your 2 best wide receivers in spring practice. That's bad luck.
Yeah, and a game hasn't been played at this point, but I'm always hopeful. We still have a chance. You got to play the game.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'm not throwing the towel in by any means, but we're clearly a worse team today than we were 2 weeks ago.
Right. No, I was listening to you guys talking earlier, and I'm in agreement with you. I think, I'm a big fan of Donnan. I think Donnan I think there's a lot that he brought to our program that maybe we didn't have before. And you guys were talking about recruiting a lot.
No doubt.
I used to follow.
Who's player? I mean, who do you think Kirby? Mark Richt won the SEC in 2002. Every single starter was recruited by Jim Donnan. Jim Donnan beat Tennessee for the first time in 10 years. Jim Donnan did some good things. Jim Donnan did some good things. Was he great? No, but he inherited a dumpster fire of a program. I mean, Ray Goff was a disaster. Right. He came after Vince Dooley. You never want to be the guy that comes after somebody like that. Ray Goff was a disaster. Jim Donnan came in, and Jim Donnan got Georgia to a place where they were at least relevant. I mean, they were ranked. They were winning some big games. He never competed for a national title or even came close or anything like that, but he definitely moved us a big step forward from where Ray Goff had us.
Yeah, and I used to follow recruiting really heavily when Coach Rick came. And the one thing that I noticed, and you were talking about this a little bit earlier, but the difference between Coach Rick and Kirby to me is Kirby's a closer. Like Rick would get a good player here and there, and just some good players overall. But to me, Kirby is just a totally different closer. We're on the same par as, say, LSU, Alabama, and Clemson. It's just, can we put it all together and take it all the way?
Yeah, he's as competitive at recruiting as he is at winning a game on. Like it's a competition to him, recruiting.
Right.
Right. And he attacks recruiting. And he only hires coaches who have that same mindset. They asked him about that coach for West Virginia that they hired in the offseason, that DB coach, and they asked him what made him hire him and what this and what that, and he specifically mentioned his recruiting ability and enthusiasm. And you look around some of the coaches who aren't very enthusiastic about recruiting, Dan Mullen, it shows. Yeah. It shows. If Kirby Smart was in Florida, he'd be at least, just as successful, if not more so, at recruiting than he is in Georgia, whereas Dan Mullen struggles to crack the top 10. So.
Yeah, I've got a couple buddies, and we went to school around the same time, early 2000s, and we talk about it. And I say, I think in the early years, they would say, we know Rick would recruit really well, and I'm like, yes, Rick would recruit well, but Kirby recruits like great.
It's on another level. Like the difference. It's like I'll put it to you this way. If you have a daughter that's 14 and she tells you she's going to date an 18-year-old, you're like, what? No, I'll kill him. If you have a daughter that's 30 and she's dating a 34-year-old, you probably don't care. The differences aren't all the same. The difference between the number 2 class and the number 8 class is way bigger. That's a difference of 6 spots. That difference is way bigger than the difference between the number 20 and the number 26. If you're recruiting in the top 3 or 4, you are getting the absolute best of the best.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Well, hey, listen, Lou, appreciate your show, and I'll keep listening. And you've been running long, but have a good night, sir.
All right, yeah, thanks for calling in. It was good to hear from you, sir. I'm glad you took the time. Okay, that's going to be it for the calls. There's no one else on hold, and I turned my 1-hour show into a 2-hour show for no particular reason at all, other than the fact, I guess, that, I don't know why. There is no legitimate reason why. The calls were great. That's why. It didn't have anything to do with me. A drunk monkey could do what I'm doing. All I'm doing is clicking a button and saying, good morning, you're on with Uncle Lou. The callers were absolutely amazing, though. So big shout out to all of you for that. In the show, though. Yes, confirm. Thank you. Thanks, accept me. All right, last update on this game here. It's going to be a good one. 35 seconds to go. But you know what that means in basketball. Last 35 seconds of a basketball game can last 30 minutes, especially when it's close like this. And he's going to be foul here, foul there, do this. Oh, take another timeout. Now I got a TV timeout. Michigan's about to let me down here. So I hope they don't. But they might. I don't know. It's embarrassing, to be honest. They're humiliating themselves on national TV. Yeah, I am going to get out of here, though. And maybe I'll turn it on and watch the last 30 seconds, which is really the last 20 minutes of the game. But I appreciate all of you tuning in. Great show tonight. Thank you for support. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't already on your way out the door. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything or take any time at all, but it's a huge help to me and the channel. So if you hadn't hit thumbs up already, wow, 84 thumbs up tonight. That's great. Appreciate you guys doing that. That means a lot. No live shows tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday, no live shows, but I'll be back Thursday morning at 8 a.m. for the morning show, and then Thursday night at 10 p.m. for the call-in show. Hope you guys have a great night and an even better morning, too. What'd somebody say? What? American Idol? I don't even think he won. He's my favorite American Idol person of all time. So I didn't catch the name of whoever requested this, or somebody requested a Chris Daughtry song. I didn't catch the name. I haven't watched American Idol in probably 10 years, but I used to watch it like everybody else did when it first came on, I guess. Chris Daughtry was my favorite American Idol, whatever, character, contestant. Have a good morning.
I'm staring out into the night, trying to hide the pain. I'm going to the place where love and feeling good don't never cost a thing. And the pain you feel's a different kind of pain. I'm going home to the place where I belong, and where your love has always been enough for me. I'm not running from, no, I think you got me all wrong. I don't regret this life chose for me. But these places and these places are getting old, so I'm going home. I'm going home. The miles are getting longer, it seems. The closer I get to you. I've not always been the best man, a friend for you, but your love remains true. And I don't know why you always seem to give me another try. So I'm going home to the place where I belong, and where your love has always been enough for me. I'm not running from, no, I think you got me all wrong. I don't regret this life chose for me. But these places and these places are getting old. Be careful what you wish for, 'cause you just might get it all. You just might get it all, and then some you don't want. Be careful what you wish for, 'cause you just might get it all. You just might get it all, yeah. Oh, I'm going home to the place where I belong, and where your love has always been enough for me. I'm not running from, no, I think you got me all wrong. I don't regret this life I chose for me. But these places and